Waterwash for three. Nylon for Tommy Waterwash. Throw one Fairchild into the Getty. Make the catch. He does.
Our kids played hard and played together.
Sizemore looking for the end zone. Trey Fairchild makes the catch. Touchdown.
Like I said, this is the first stop on a journey. Let's learn from this. If you want to win, you got to play hard.
Hello and welcome to the Reich Center, where in just a few minutes, Otterbein will take on the Lady Pioneers of Marietta in a battle of OAC foes. As we take a look at the OAC standings, we can see that your Lady Cardinals are on the outside looking in. Two teams ahead of them, Heidelberg undefeated 7-0, Mount Union 6-1 in league play. Otterbein would need a miracle to take the regular season championship, but with 2 games left in the year, nothing is out of the possibility. Hello and thanks for watching OTV. I am David Kinder, joined with me, Joe Van Duten. Joe, how you doing?
Great, how are you tonight?
I'm pretty well, and Joe, this is an Otterbein team that is riding a great win streak, a very streaky team this year. Obviously started the season 9 straight wins before falling 4 straight. They have a 5-game winning streak now and are the 17th ranked team in all the nation, currently in a 3rd place tie in the OAC standings. Why have they been so hot, and what has contributed to their success so far this year?
Definitely the hitting. Tabitha Piper having many assists throughout every game. The defense is great, the hitting's been under control, they're scoring points, they're on fire, and they can't be stopped.
Playing a subpar opponent tonight in Marietta, who you haven't lost to in a few years. They come into this one 12-15 on the year, only 2 conference wins all year. What are your keys to victory to get it done for the Cardinals so they can get their 23rd victory of the season?
The keys tonight are to get ahead in the beginning, get a strong lead and stay ahead the entire time. Communication, communication, communication. You can never have enough of that in volleyball. And keep errors to a minimum. We need to have controlled hits and passing tonight.
We'll be sure to see if they can get all those keys to victory done tonight. The game will start in just a few minutes. We're going to throw it to a break. When we come back, we'll have starting lineups and the start of the game between your 17th ranked Lady Cardinals and the Marietta Pioneers, so keep it locked to OTV.
Still up? Can't sleep? Looking for something to do? Come to a place where the fun never sleeps. Columbus Square Bowling Palace. It's been the premier bowling destination in Central Ohio for 30 years. With 64 lanes of bowling open 24 hours, no matter what time it is. There's always time at the Palace for fun with friends and family. Join the Night Owl regulars at Columbus Square Bowling Palace, where the fun never sleeps.
A member of NCAA Division III, the OAC features outstanding educational programs in a small class setting, while offering competitive athletic opportunities in 23 sports. 10 private colleges and universities form the OAC, the nation's premier small athletic conference. Baldwin Wallace University, Capital University, Heidelberg University, John Carroll University, Marietta College, the University of Mount Union, Muskingum University, Ohio Northern University, Otterbein University, and Wilmington College. The Ohio Athletic Conference, where a proud history meets the promise of tomorrow.
Is the color that your skin was meant to be no longer beautiful? Every year, millions of young women try to change the skin they were born with and say they die for darker skin. Sadly, some actually do. Melanoma is the 2nd most common cancer in teens and young adults, and 1 person dies from melanoma every hour. Change your thinking, not your skin. Stop tanning. Learn more at spotskincancer.org. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology.
Back here at the Reich Center, thank you for watching OTV. I am David Kinder. Joined in the press box here is Joe Van Duten. Joe, we're just a few minutes away, and the Lady Cardinals will go for number 24 on the season, try to get their 6th conference win, and as we mentioned, a very unlikely scenario, but still a chance for them to get that regular season OAC title. Their opponent tonight, the Marietta College Pioneers, coming in 12-15 on the year, 2-5 in OAC play. It's time now for the starting lineups. Joe, take it away for the visitors from Marietta.
For the Lady Pioneers, we have number 1, Mallory Vodopich, the freshman defensive specialist. Number 3, Amanda Weisling, freshman outside hitter. Number 17, Shawnee Oliver Smith, the sophomore middle hitter. Number 19, Carrie Horton, sophomore right side hitter. Number 20, Chloe Jansen, another sophomore middle hitter. And number 23, Laura Maurer, a junior setter, with number 9, Amber Wiley, as their libero.
The Pioneers are coached by Ray Costa in his 7th year as head coach of this squad with a 98-107 career record. And as we mentioned on the 2013 campaign, 12-15 on the year. For your Lady Cardinals, Gracie Staten will wear number 1. She's the sophomore. Kendall Kellogg Jr., number 4. Number 6 is Tabitha Piper, the junior. Kristen Estes will wear a number 11. She is a sophomore. Kim Barker, number 13, junior. And number 21, Annie Junger, who is the team's leader in kills and the OAC leader in kills per set with 3.86. The libero for tonight's match for the Cardinals, Emily Caldwell, the senior, number 15. Of course, the Cardinals are coached by Monica McDonald, who is in her 7th season. As we pause now for the playing of the national anthem at the Reich Center. Coach McDonald's squad has made the NCAA tournament the past 2 volleyball seasons, and it appears, Joe, that they will do the same thing this year, as we mentioned, going for win number 24 on the year. The school record stands at 26. That was from last year's squad. They will not be able to match that win total with only 2 games remaining on the schedule. Tonight's matchup with Marietta, and they will close out with senior night against Hated Capital on Saturday. So with only 2 games left, the best case scenario, a 25-win season, which is still a pretty darn good season in my book.
Definitely, definitely.
So the girls are out on the court, about to break huddle. The Marietta Pioneers wearing their black shorts with their white uniforms and blue numbering and trim. The Cardinals in their traditional home uniforms, black bottoms with the Cardinal tops with the Cardinal numbering and the Cardinal trim.
You mentioned earlier that the Cardinals are on a 5-game winning streak, and they have not lost a game since October 19th at Heidelberg. They're on fire right now.
They definitely are, and last Saturday they picked up a win over who was thought to be the best team in the OAC, the Purple Raiders of Mount Union, who seem to dominate in basically every sport they pick up. Handed them their first conference loss of the season, and now Mount Union no longer atop the conference standings. It is Heidelberg who is the #1 team in the Ohio Athletic Conference with a 7-0 conference mark, but only a 15-13 overall mark. Mount Union also sitting with the most wins in OAC play with a 25-4 record on the year. Marietta will have the honors of putting the ball in play to start this thing. And we are underway as Annie Junger digs it out. Setting up for a quick kill from Junger, and there it is.
It's a great first play.
It is definitely. She is the leader on this team in kills and leads the OAC in kills per set. Look for her to do much of the same throughout the course of the night, and she will be back there to serve. Will the senior. Going into the stands there to try to get that one. Nice retaliation to get it back over the net. Setting up again for the kill, and nice dig by the libero there. A light tap over from Marietta, keeps it in play. Caldwell digs it out over to Junger, and that one is saved nicely by the libero. Still in play, but the diving libero cannot get it back over that time, and Otterbein takes the 2-0 advantage.
Great hustle by Otterbein defense, picking up tips short there.
That was Amber Wiley, the senior from Brookside High School, who tried to make the save there. So Junger back to serve again. And a good kill there that time by the Cardinals. Credit that one to Kendall Kellogg, the junior from Pickerington North High School. Good job by her to sneak it over.
And that's a facet of the game the Cardinals are really good at, Joe. Sneaking it over like that as we see Junger serve it into the net, and possession will go over to the visitors from Marietta. But they're really good at those sneak attacks like that. We see it a lot. Tabitha Piper especially is very good at it. Kendall Kellogg able to do it there, where the visitors are expecting to set up for a 3-set hit over the net, and they get it on the first try.
It was a great hit.
And again, Junger with the mistake that time as she's not able to hit it back over, and it's closed to a 1-point game now.
Good communication there.
You mentioned in the game, pregame, that one of the keys to victory for the Cardinals was communication. We've seen a little bit of a lack of that in the earlier sets between the starters. Let's hope it doesn't cost them here tonight as they send Caldwell back to serve this one, and off the hands of a Pioneer, out of bounds. Caldwell, the libero to start the season. She lost her job as the libero for a little bit to sophomore Gracie State, and she comes in this one, does Caldwell 417 digs on the year, leading the team in that statistical category. And the Cincinnati native serves it over. Setting up for a kill for Marietta off the front line of the Cardinals. 3 Cardinals there in position. None of them can get it done, and it's a 2-point ball game. Amber Wiley, the senior, back to serve yet again, sporting the pink headband. Junger saves it, and a little bit of miscommunication, as you just talked about, Joe.
Communication can kill you, David.
And that cost the Cardinals a point there, and it is a 1-point set here in the first set at the Reich Center here in Westerville, Ohio. You're watching OTV's broadcast of Division III college volleyball. Over to Barker. Nice save. And again, the Cardinals are unable to have good play in their front lines. A little miscommunication there, and we have ourselves a tied ball game at 5 apiece. Wiley back to serve for the Pioneers. And 2 costly mistakes from Annie Junger in the first set here. A rarity out of the senior you don't see too often, and that gives the Pioneers their first lead of the contest, 6-5.
Serve receive is not on point tonight so far.
Kellogg is able to send it over. Pioneers do a good job of keeping it in the air. Again, it's Kellogg who keeps it alive, setting up for the kill. Off the front line of the Pioneers, still alive. Unable to send it back over, and the Pioneers go up 2 points here over the Cardinals. With the OAC tournament only a week away, Otterbein secured a spot there as we see that attempted kill shot into the net, and the Pioneers have a quick 3-point lead here, and we will have a timeout on the floor. Going back to the OAC tournament, Joe, the top 8 teams will make the tournament. Otterbein is no stranger to the OAC tournament. They won it last year in surprise fashion. Mount Union expected to win that one. The Cards got it done. Coach McDonald wins her first, and the first in school history. And with the 3rd place standing they have currently, they are guaranteed a spot in that OAC tournament. It will just be a matter of if they're hosting a game or not. Right now they're tied with Ohio Northern for that spot. Marietta 2-5, right on the bubble. If the season ended today, they would be the 8th seed and just squeak their way in. Muskingum 1-6 in conference play could definitely steal that spot away from them. But Coach McDonald has clearly set her goals for these girls as winning OAC championships.
As she should. They've been doing a great job the last 5 games, winning both games at the Mount St. Joseph tri-match against Anderson University and Mount St. Joseph, and then picking up wins again, Wilmington, Denison, and like you said, Mount Union this past weekend.
So we have a break from our first timeout of the match. The Pioneers will take back to the court, holding a 3-point advantage over the home Cardinals. As I see Cardi has made an appearance here at the Reich Center. A decent crowd on hand here, as a nice save there from the libero, setting up for Kendall Kellogg, and she gets the kill that time. She's able to find some open space in the back of the court there, catches the Pioneers napping, they pull it within 2.
Anything is possible with a good serve receive pass.
Kellogg sends it in play. And that one goes out of bounds about 2 feet to the right of the end marker there, and 1-point game now. Kellogg with her 3rd consecutive serve, and that one's in.
It was a great aggressive serve. Great spot. Way to find the open hole.
Marietta not sure whether to go after it, close to the out-of-bounds line there. Unwisely, they do not, and Otterbein has tied it up at 8 apiece. Kellogg continues with her hot serving. Setting up for Junger. And there's that sneak attack we saw again, talked about it with Tabitha Piper. That time it does not work for the Cardinals. The longest volley we've seen all game, and that time a miss out of number 20, Chloe Jansen, the sophomore from East Central High School in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. She whiffs on that one, and it gives the Cardinals the lead again. Junger with a nice dig to save it out, and that one is in. Good for point for the Cardinals. Again, they're able to find that open spot in the back of the court, and we again have a timeout on the floor. So we've seen a lot of different offensive tactics out of Coach McDonald's girls so far. We saw the sneak attacks. We saw some great serves, some rifles of serves from Kendall Kellogg, and we've also seen them able to exploit the defense in the back half of the court where they don't have too many Pioneers lined up and find some open territory.
Definitely a change of pace since the timeout that Coach McDonald called. Whatever she said, it definitely worked.
As we mentioned, only 2 games remaining on the Cardinals schedule tonight, and they will close out their season Saturday with Capital. Taking a look at the box score from the the Mount Union game. It was a sweep of the Purple Raiders, 25-16, 25-23, and taking that third set, 25-20. Annie Junger had a superb game with 13 kills, 7 digs. Tabitha Piper, 28 assists. As we mentioned, she is close to a school record, only 50 assists away from the all-time school mark that has stood for over a decade. As play resumes on the court, Kellogg will send her 5th consecutive serve, and you can make it 6 now, as the Cardinals are really rolling here. We've talked a lot in previous broadcasts, Joe, of what a momentum-type game volleyball is. Momentum can be with you 1 second, you turn around, and it's gone with the other team the next.
Definitely.
It looks like this might be a point for the Cardinals, too. Off the backboard, set up for basketball. They're able to save it nicely, and that is off the hands of a Pioneer. That time it was number 23, Laura Mao, the junior. She comes in this one as the leading assister for the Pioneers, 682 on the year. She cannot get it back over that time, and the Cardinals have extended their lead to 4, and that one looks like it was in as well. It was not. They're going to say that one was out of bounds, and they break the string of 6 consecutive points for the Cardinals. I don't know about you, Joe. That one looked like it was in to me.
I thought so, too. Right on the line. The Lady Pioneers definitely had a hard time responding to Kellogg's serves.
Otterbein's lead to 3 now. Caldwell off her hands. That one will sail towards the exit doors there. And Marietta has now come away with consecutive points. Setting up for Junger, lightly taps it over. The defense of the Pioneers was ready for it that time, and that one hits the hardwood on the floor, and we have ourselves a 1-point game again. That serve wisely by Emily Caldwell to allow that one to sail over the end line. The Cardinals take the 13-11 lead as substitutions into the game. Now Gracie Staten, the sophomore from Athens, comes into the game for Coach McDonald. Gracie Staten served as the libero for a little bit while Emily Caldwell was sidelined. Gracie Staten back to her usual position, and she is serving, and that one will be point Cardinals.
Lady Pioneers seem to be consistent and having a hard time getting a good service pass off of the Cardinals' serves.
The 5'7" sophomore puts it in play. Good job by the front line of the Cardinals to keep it alive. Caldwell to Junger. And off the hands of a diving libero. Good save there. The Pioneers keep it alive. Caldwell digs it out. They're going to set up again for the kill, and they got it that time. That time, credit it to Kim Barker, the junior from Watertown. Dayton serve. And that one finds some space in the backcourt, and we have ourselves a 15-12 ball game here in the first set. More substitutions into the game for the Pioneers. That's number 13, Amanda Westling, the freshman who started the game. A young roster for the Pioneers. We see 2 freshmen and 3 sophomores made the starting lineup tonight. No seniors in the starting lineup. A very young bunch for Coach Ray Costa, as we mentioned, in his 7th year as the head coach. A 98 and 107 career record in Marietta. Junger, and she does what she does best there. A good kill that time from Annie Junger.
It was a great cross-court hit. Good spot.
Junger now has 3 kills in the game. Kim Barker, 4. She is the leader for the Cardinals. And there's that little slight tap over for the Cardinals. That time it came from Tabitha Piper, who we normally expect to see it out of. And the Cardinals are extremely well at confusing defenses with that. That serve sails wide of the end line, point to Marietta. Chloe Jansen, the sophomore, set to serve it. Good serve. Setting up for Junger. And that one's out of bounds. Point to the Otterbein Cardinals.
Like we mentioned before, great communication in the back line. There's been a lot of balls out of bounds, and our girls have been quick to call it.
Obviously a much better job than the Pioneers have done tonight in that category. Otterbein 7 points away from taking the first set of the game. And that one, again, looks like it will be point to the Pioneers. Again, that one looked like it was inbounds to me.
Really close.
There's some questionable calls out of the officiating tonight. Coach McDonald does not protest too much down on her seat on the Otterbein sideline. That one too far out of bounds for the Pioneers to handle that time. Otterbein gets their 19th point of the set.
Ooh.
Little confusion that time out of Amber Wiley, the libero for the Pioneers, as she lets that one go past her, and the Cardinals are the first team to get to the 20-point mark in this game. Again, another one that looks extremely close to that line down there, and they end up giving the point to the visiting Pioneers. Kendall Kellogg substituted into the game for the Cardinals. A light tap over from Kellogg. Piper to Barker, and that one goes into the net. Excuse me, that was Maddie Shelley that time substituted into the game. The sophomore hits it into the net, and the score stands at 20-17 in favor of the home team. That one inbounds, point going to Otterbein.
It's a great spot. Hits in the back line are really hard to get. Most girls are too shallow, as we saw the Lady Pioneers playing a shallow defense there.
Something tells me you weren't too shallow in high school, were you, Joe? Joe, a former volleyball player in her high school days.
I know all about defense. Being 5 feet tall, we don't get a lot of front row action.
Where'd you play?
Edison High School.
Edison?
Up north. Yep. Right on Lake Erie.
So we have a volleyball veteran joining us in the booth for the first time all year, as Emily Caldwell goes back past the end line to serve this one. A good save from Caldwell that time, and Junger tries to get it over, and just out of bounds.
Great
a terrific
hustle.
effort, though, by Annie Junger to try to get that one back in. Just went out of bounds by a few inches. That one looks like it's going to sail into the crowd, and it will indeed. Otterbein now just 2 points away from taking the 1-0 advantage. Good job by the front line of the Cardinals. Setting up for Shelley, and Shelley gets the kill that time. She finds some open space in the middle of the floor, and the Cardinals 1 point away from going up 1-0.
Otterbein's been doing a great job of finding the Lady Pioneers open spots on the other side of the court. Lack of communication, like I mentioned many times before, it can make or break your game.
And lack of communication will send us to a break as Otterbein takes the first set here at the Reich 25-18. When we come back, they'll switch sides, and Otterbein will try to go up 2-0 over the Pioneers of Marietta, so keep it locked to OTV. We will be right back.
Still up? Can't sleep? Looking for something to do? Come to a place where the fun never sleeps. Columbus Square Bowling Palace. It's been the premier bowling destination in Central Ohio for 30 years. With 64 lanes of bowling open 24 hours, no matter what time it is. There's always time at the Palace for fun with friends and family. Join the Night Owl regulars at Columbus Square Bowling Palace, where the fun never sleeps. Who says 30 can't be fun? The Columbus Square Bowling Palace is turning 30, and the fun has just begun. Come celebrate our birthday with us. With 64 lanes of bowling open 24 hours for fun with friends and family, no matter what time it is, there's always time at the Palace. The Palace is the perfect place to hold your birthday party or corporate employee groups. Call us today to make your reservation. 30 years old and better than new, with millions of dollars in renovations at the highest rated bowling center in Columbus, the Columbus Square Bowling Palace.
Oh, hey, bud. Where are you headed?
Just gonna hang out.
With Gary and Todd?
Yeah?
I've been meaning to ask you, is there any drinking going on in this crowd?
No.
If any of your buddies ever pressure you to take a drink, just tell them you promised your dad you wouldn't. I'd do anything to keep you safe.
Okay, I will.
I hope this is working.
I promise. Love you too, Dad.
They really do hear you. For tips on what to say, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Is your body holding you back?
Where do you think you're going? I want to go running. Not with that knee, you're not.
Your bones and joints can say no at any age.
Let's not pick her up. What do you say?
Yet a lot of people in pain fight back.
Use your head. Save your back. My bride, my rules.
And regain their lives.
You gotta be kidding me.
Fight for your mobility. Visit anationinmotion.org. A message from the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons.
I'll take it from here.
Otterbein took the first set 25-18 over the visiting Pioneers in trying to get their 24th win of the season. Thank you for watching Otterbein TV's broadcast of tonight's game, brought to you by the Columbus Square Bowling Palace. I am David Kinder, joined with Joe Van Duten. And in the first set, we talked a lot about communication, and that was ultimately the downfall of the Pioneers.
Absolutely.
Otterbein is 21-8 in second sets this year, as they will try to improve that to 22-8. The 17th ranked team in all of the land. They've been ranked as high as 13th this year. And they will continue to try to climb the ladder as the same starting lineup is run out there for the Cardinals, setting up for Junger, and good job by the Pioneers front line that time to send it back over. And they scored the first points of this match. The last time the Lady Cardinals were here at the Reich Center was another OTV broadcast, that one against Wilmington. Otterbein took the first set fairly easily, and then the following two sets, Coach McDonald played almost exclusively substitutes throughout the rest of the game, and they were still able to get the victory pretty handily as that serve goes over the end line to tie the second set up, at one apiece. She used complete substitution in the following two sets, and she was still able to pick up the victory. She has moved away from that strategy here tonight against Marietta, keeping her starters out there for the second set, at least for the time being, as Junger is back to serve it to Shelley, and that one's off the hands of a Pioneer. That time it was Becca Roth, the freshman, off of her hands, and the Cardinals go up 2-1. Junger, one of the many Cardinals who is considered on the OAC watch list as another kill by the Cards nets them 3 points. One of the many Cards who is on OAC watch list for first team All-OAC selections this year. We've got to imagine at the end of the year herself, Tabitha Piper, will be high up on those lists for first team, if not first team, at least second team. And a good job there by the Cardinal front line from Kendall Kellogg and Kristen Estes, the two tallest players on the team. And they blow it dead before they can retaliate. Point to Otterbein.
First game came out in the Cardinals' favor, but the girls had a hard time in the beginning of the game getting a good serve receive pass, which you can see they've been doing a great job of defense and communicating better this game, which has given them a good lead in the beginning.
Caldwell digs it out, setting up for Kellogg. Junger is able to save it. Caldwell. Shelley knocks it over. A quick attack that time by number 17, Oliver Smith, the sophomore from Elyria, Ohio, but she is unable to send it over as it goes into the net. Point goes to the Cardinals, and they have came out explosively here, Joe, in this second set, going up 6-1.
That they have, it's been a great change of pace ever since that first time out in the first set. Girls have been hustling, picking up many balls.
Well, the Lady Cardinals will keep a close eye on a lot of the other action going on around the OAC, and we will keep you update on those games as well. Capital is leading Muskingum 26-25 in the first set to take the first set against Muskingum. That game in Bexley. Marietta and Otterbein, of course, here tonight at 7 o'clock. As we take a look now, the championship banners hanging from the Reich Center. Otterbein, of course, as we mentioned, 3 consecutive NCAA tournament appearances, one of the most successful sports here at Otterbein. They won that OAC championship last year and are still trying to get their first ever regular season title in 30 years of basketball. And they're going to need a little, of volleyball, that is. They're going to need a little bit of help to get that done, as Heidelberg still undefeated in OAC play. They play John Carroll tonight in University Heights. That one off the hands of the Otterbein front line. Point going to Marietta. But as it sits right now, 2 games out of the chase. Heidelberg will have to stumble and lose both of theirs, and Mount Union would also have to lose one as well for the Cardinals to have a share of that conference title, something they have not done in their 30-year history of volleyball. But Kendall Kellogg's able to find some hardwood in the back half of the court that time.
It was a great hit down the line. Like we've mentioned before, Otterben's been doing a great job of finding the open spots on the other side of the court. It's been getting them a lot of points.
The libero, Caldwell, back to serve this one. Setting up for Kellogg, and she gets it again. Otterbein, we've seen them do a fantastic job today of exploiting the backcourt and able to find a lot of holes in the Marietta defense.
It's a great team characteristic to have, to find the weak spots in the other team.
A decent crowd has gathered in the student section here at the Reich Center. I believe we'll give credit to Jacob Barker. He named them Monica's Maniacs in our previous 2 broadcasts. We have Adrian's Army for the men's basketball and Connie's Cavalry for women's basketball. Diverging from the military theme, went with Monica's Maniacs, and they have come out to support their Lady Cardinals, who have the 17th ranking in the nation. A decent crowd here at the Reich Center. And Annie Junger is unable to come up that one as she hits the deck. Horton puts it in play. Horton, the leading killer on this team, with 196 coming into this one. 2 ahead of her next closest competition, who is Hackenberg, Rachel Hackenberg, the junior, with 195 on the year. And good job there. Caldwell able to recognize that one hit a little too hard, goes out of bounds. Otterbein has the 9-4 advantage.
A lot of missed serves from both sides of the net tonight.
And I got to imagine on the Marietta side, that's a sign of youth, which we talked about, an extremely young lineup. No seniors out there, 2 freshmen in the starting lineup. However, for the Cardinals, not really much of an excuse. They have a lot of veteran leadership on this team, and it's a team that's proven they can win when they have to. As Kellogg will check out of the game and take a seat on the bench. That one out of bounds, point to Otterbein, and they have doubled up the Lady Pioneers now 10-5. That one into the net, retaliated by the Cardinals, and Piper with a sneak hit over. Marietta was ready for it. Piper, and again, that time she gets them. Tabitha Piper, very versatile out on the court, but that is her best quality out there, a team leader, and she is able to sneak it over when they're not expecting it, and she gets the 11th point of the set for the Cardinals.
It was a good use of a free ball by the Lady Cardinals.
Of course, Tabitha Piper, one of 2 of the double sport athletes on this Lady Cardinal volleyball team. When volleyball season ends, she will change into her basketball uniform, as will Gracie Staten, who are both key parts of Coach Connie Richardson's squad, who will try to win their first OAC title this year as well. And the Lady Cards basketball season will kick off on November 15th against DePaul in Franklin, Indiana, in a tournament, as will the men's team. So as the fall sports come to an end, winter sports on the horizon. We have you covered any way you look. The last home game of the year, senior night here for the Lady Cardinals, will be this Saturday. You can watch that on OTV as well. That game will start at 11 a.m. and then keep it locked to OTV because it is a doubleheader. So just put on OTV all day and don't turn it, because right after the volleyball game, I will be sprinting out of the press box here at the Reich Center and going over to Memorial Stadium, where OTV, myself and Harrison Ralph and Jordan Brown on the field will have coverage of the Otterbein Capital game, the 88th meeting between the 2 squads. Otterbein's football team trying to get back into its winning ways, 3-4 on the season, trying to make it 2 consecutive wins over their rivals from Bexley. And the Lady Cardinals here on this court will try to close out their regular season with a victory for the seniors. Gracie Staten serves it and into the net. Not a good way to come out of a timeout. And Marietta cuts the deficit in half. To Junger, and a good job there by the Pioneers front line. Back to Junger, she lightly taps it over. Marietta is able to save it, but a whistle is blown. And the point will be awarded to the visitors. Junger again looking for a kill, and she has it off the hands of the back defense of the Pioneers. And she is the leading killer in this one now with 6 to her credit. That one appears to be in, and it is indeed. Credit that point to Kristen Estes, the sophomore from Medina.
Lady Cardinals taking advantage of the open back corners on the Lady Pioneers side.
Something that Coach McDonald teaches her girls to do a lot in practice. I know I have seen her preach on that many times. Again, it is Estes that time finding the middle of the court. Back-to-back kills for her. Scoring updates around the OAC. Ohio Northern has gone up 1-0 over the Quakers down in Wilmington, Ohio. And Baldwin Wallace trails at Mount Union, no sets to 1. Junger, again, she gets credit for the kill that time, her 8th of the match, leading both teams in that category.
We've seen great attack work at the net today by the Lady Cardinals. They've had numerous overpass and able to get a kill off of them. It's a great strategy to have.
Checking into the game now for the Cardinals is the senior from Delaware Hayes High School, number 30, Liz Palmer. Now, the last time these two met on the hardwood was in Marietta, Ohio last year in October. Otterbein got a 3-0 victory over the Pioneers that time as well. Annie Junger had a huge game with 10 kills. And Tabitha Piper, as a sophomore, then had 40 assists.
Another missed serve by Marietta.
So the Pioneers shooting themselves in the foot today. A lot of costly penalties, and it has contributed to the double up. Otterbein has 18-9. They took the first set 25-18. Caldwell with an impressive dig that time to save it. To Junger. She lightly taps it over. Pioneers ready for it. Setting up for a kill. Caldwell's going to have to hurry for that one, and she cannot get to it in time. It goes out of bounds, and the Pioneers are in double digits now.
It was a great jump set by number 23, Laura Maurer, on the Marietta side. She was able to get an assist.
Tabitha Piper has 17 assists in this one now. As we mentioned, coming into this one, 50 shy of the school's all-time mark. And Kendall Kellogg hits it into the net with some authority that time, but a little too low, and the score now stands 18-11 here in the second set. Caldwell wisely hits that one, and that one hit with some authority. Annie Junger records her 6th kill of the match. She's tied with Kendall Kellogg for the most in the match now. Maddie Shelley, second on the team with 4 now. And Junger will retreat behind the line to serve. Good set of volleys here. Into the net, point to Otterbein. It is Casey White, the sophomore, seeing her first action tonight, who initially hit it over for the Cardinals.
Both teams tonight running a 6-2 offense with a setter in the back row, keeping 3 options in the front row, an outside hitter, a middle hitter, and a right side hitter.
First mistake we've seen out of Junger in a while as she sends that one into the net, and an 8-point game here in the second set. That one under the net, and point going to Otterbein. Have to hit it over the net, Joe. Cannot hit it under the net. I know I'm still learning the rules of volleyball a little bit, but of that one, I'm pretty confident that it is a rule.
You are right.
Caldwell serving it. Good job there by the Cardinal front line, but it did go out of bounds. A little indecision by the officials. Had to make sure and check. It went out by a few inches. Point to the Pioneers. And look at that kill that time from Kim Barker, the junior. She's able to exploit the middle of the court. And Otterbein 3 points away from going up 2-0. Again, we see a little struggle with the serving department for the Cardinals. That one a little too far of the inline.
Kendall Kellogg did have a great run of serves in the first set.
That she did.
Great aggressive serve.
A sneak there from Piper. Not fooling Marietta that time. And too hard, and it goes out of bounds. Otterbein 2 points away from taking the second set of this match. And Gracie Staten will be called upon to serve it. Good effort that time by the Pioneers, but unable to send it back over to the net. 24-14 our score here in the second set. Gracie Staten again to set it into play. Otterbein needing 1 point to clinch the victory in this set. Shelley able to save it. Setting up for the kill. A good set of volleys here by both teams. And that one too far. The longest set of volleys I believe we saw by either team so far tonight, Joe. But in the end, the point will go to the Pioneers, and they're not going down quietly here in the second set. Jansen to serve. And into the net, and that will do it for the second set. Otterbein takes it 25-15. They took the first set 25-18 and now have the 2-0 advantage over the Pioneers. Otterbein 20-9 this year in the third set. We will see if they can get it done after we step aside here on OTV. We'll be right back for all the third set action and hopefully a Cardinal victory.
Who says 30 can't be fun? The Columbus Square Bowling Palace is turning 30, and the fun has just begun. Come celebrate our birthday with us. With 64 lanes of bowling open 24 hours for fun with friends and family, no matter what time it is, there's always time at the Palace. The Palace is the perfect place to hold your birthday party or corporate employee groups. Call us today to make your reservation. 30 years old and better than new, with millions of dollars in renovations at the highest rated bowling center in Columbus, the Columbus Square Bowling Palace.
Oh, hey, bud. Where are you headed?
Just gonna hang out.
With Gary and Todd?
Yeah?
I've been meaning to ask you, is there any drinking going on in this crowd?
No.
If any of your buddies ever pressure you to take a drink, just tell them you promised your dad you wouldn't. I'd do anything to keep you safe.
Okay, I will.
I hope this is working.
I promise. Love you too, Dad.
They really do hear you. For tips on what to say, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Is your body holding you back?
Where do you think you're going? I want to go running. Not with that knee, you're not.
Your bones and joints can say no at any age.
Let's not, pick her up. What do you say?
Yet a lot of people in pain fight back.
Use your head. Save your back. My bride, my rules.
And regain their lives.
You gotta be kidding me.
Fight for your mobility. Visit anationinmotion.org. A message from the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons.
I'll take it from here.
At what age is the color that your skin was meant to be no longer beautiful? Every year, millions of young women try to change the skin they were born with and say they die for darker skin. Sadly, some actually do. Melanoma is the second most common cancer in teens and young adults, and one person dies from melanoma every hour. Change your thinking, not your skin. Stop tanning. Learn more at spotskincancer.org. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology.
David Kinder, Joe Van Duten coming at you from the Reich Center, hosting its 40th season of Otterbein Athletics. And as we have a break in action on the floor, as there's a competition among the fans to try to hit it into the baskets. Otterbein has gone up 2-0 over the Pioneers from Marietta. They won the first set 25-18, 25-15, and are now set to win their 13th shutout of the year if they can get it done in the third set. And Joe, what have you noticed out of the Cardinals that are contributing to their success here?
The great communication by the Lady Cardinals. talking to each other, communicating, letting the hitters know where the open spots are. And with that, Otterbein has been taking advantage of the open corners on the side of Marietta, getting point after point in the open corners in the back line. Marietta's been having a hard time responding to those hits.
Otterbein not only paying attention to what goes on here, but also around the OAC. We'll keep you updated with any change in scores that we've noticed. 15-2 in conference play. They need Heidelberg to fall twice and Mount Union to fall once to secure a share of their first ever regular season OAC championship. Of course, Coach McDonald's girls won their first ever postseason championship when they took the OAC tournament last year in the championship game against Mount Union. They come into this one 23-6 on the year with the 17th ranking in all of Division III. College volleyball, taking a look at some of the statistical leaders so far in this game. Kendall Kellogg and Annie Junk are having their usual fantastic games, both with 6 kills apiece. And Maddie Shelley, second on that list with 4. Kim Barker also has 4. Tabitha Piper, 21 assists. That means that she is, if my math is correct, 29 short of the school's all-time record, a record that has stood for over a decade. And Carrie Horton is the leading killer for the Pioneers. She has 4 to her credit right now, and Maurer has 12 assists for the Lady Pioneers. So we will throw it to a quick break with about 3 minutes up on the scoreboard before they return to action. When we come back, all the third set contest, hopefully a quick victory for the Cardinals, and they can pick up their 24th on the season. So keep it locked to OTV, and we will be right back.
A member of NCAA Division III, the OAC features outstanding educational programs in a small class setting, while offering competitive athletic opportunities in 23 sports. 10 private colleges and universities form the OAC, the nation's premier small athletic conference. Baldwin Wallace University, Capital University, Heidelberg University, John Carroll University, Marietta College, the University of Mount Union, Muskingum University, Ohio Northern University, Otterbein University, and Wilmington College. The Ohio Athletic Conference, where a proud history meets the promise of tomorrow.
At what age is the color that your skin was meant to be no longer beautiful? Every year, millions of young women try to change the skin they were born with and say they die for darker skin. Sadly, some actually do. Melanoma is the second most common cancer in teens and young adults, and 1 person dies from melanoma every hour. Change your thinking, not your skin. Stop tanning. Learn more at spotskincancer.org. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology.
Oh, hey, bud. Where are you headed?
Just gonna hang out.
With Gary and Todd?
Yeah?
I've been meaning to ask you, is there any drinking going on in this crowd?
No.
If any of your buddies ever pressure you to take a drink, just tell them you promised your dad you wouldn't. I'd do anything to keep you safe.
Okay, I will.
I hope this is working.
I promise. Love you too, Dad.
They really do hear you. For tips on what to say, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Back at the Reich Center, where your Lady Cardinals are up on the Marietta Pioneers 2-0. Taking the first set 25-18, the second set 25-15. David Kinder joined in the press box of the Reich Center with Joe Van Duten. And Joe, hopefully Otterbein can get a quick victory here and we can get out of here with another shutout for the Cardinals.
As long as they keep doing what they've been doing in the first 2 sets, I think they have it in the bag.
13 shutouts on the year for the Lady Cardinals. It'll be interesting to see what lineup Coach McDonald runs out there. It looks like it will be a lot of substitutes. Looks like, strike that, a lot of the starters still out there on the court for the Lady Cardinals, as it appears Annie Junger will still be out there, as will Gracie Staten, Liz Palmer, Kim Barker, and the libero Emily Caldwell making their way onto the court for the Cardinals. The young Marietta roster, the starters, most of them still out on the floor. as they will try desperately not to get shut out and not to pick up their 16th loss of the season and fall into even a deeper hole in the push to make the OAC tournament. As we mentioned, they are on the bubble with a 2-5 conference mark. Muskingum right behind them, 1-6. So in the basement of the league, there's still a chance for either two of those teams to get in. That one off the diving hands of Gracie Staten, and as they did in the first two sets, Marietta gets the first points of the set. Maurer puts it in play with a good serve. Palmer. Palmer able to save it that time as well. Junger lightly taps it over. Point to Annie Junger.
Marietta has been having a hard time closing the gaps in their defense. Otterbein's been able to hit numerous spots on the court.
So we mentioned Annie Junger came into this one leading the Ohio Athletic Conference in kills per set with 3.86, a total that I imagine will increase after tonight's match. That one sails a few inches past the back line. Point to the visitors. Younger now with 7 kills in the match, leading in that statistical category for both teams. Even just looking at the girls on the sidelines, Joe, Otterbein, a much larger squad than Marietta has. I know we heard some of the girls for the Pioneers were suspended and did not make the trip up to Westerville, but still a very small squad and a very young squad for Marietta. When you look down that Otterbein line, the players not in the game on the bench extends all the way to the wall almost.
Another missed serve by Otterbein.
Checking into the game for Marietta, Chloe Jansen, the sophomore who's had a fine game. Wiley's serve. Junger hits it over. Marietta plays it. Good job there by the front line of the Cardinals to send it back over and knock this game up at 3 apiece. And Evelyn Karras, the junior from Tip City, a Tippecanoe graduate, will check into the game, and she will be called upon to serve. Otterbein's serving woes continue as Karras sends that one past the inline, and Marietta again reclaims the lead by 1. Back to Junger for the kill. Good job by Wiley to save it that time, but play is blown dead before they can send it back over. Point to Otterbein, tied it up at 4 apiece. And for Coach McDonald's girls, with a victory last week against Mount St. Joseph on the 19th, they clinched a 20-win season. That is their 4th consecutive 20-win season. Quite impressive for a program that when Coach McDonald took over was really in shambles. Their first year, she only wins 2 matches. Second year, wins 4 matches. And ever since then, it's been steady improvement we've seen out of the Lady Cardinals. And with 4 consecutive 20-win seasons, they are among the elite in Division III women's college volleyball, and that shows with their 17th ranking in the nation. And playing in the OAC, of course, never an easy task, as you consistently have to battle the Ohio Northerns and Mount Unions of the world, who are also 20-plus win teams and also consistently in the polls and ranked teams. And a hard hit that time from Annie Junger, too hot to handle for the Pioneers, and it goes into the student section there, which during the break was going a little insane for T-shirts from Cardi, just proving that people will do just about anything for a free T-shirt down there.
The life of a college student.
You know, gets a little busy, don't have time to do laundry. Anyone will take a free T-shirt that they get to wear around, and a clean one. So we have a little bit of a delay in action on the court. Otterbein up 7-4 here, looking for their 13th shutout victory of the season and to increase their season total to 24 wins, 6 losses, and their 6th conference victory of the year. Back and forth they go along the net. Piper, and she gets the point. Piper is able to hit it over the heads of the entire Marietta team, who had creeped up just a little bit too close to that net and weren't minding the backcourt, where Piper was able to find some open space. And Gracie Staten will put it into play for the Cardinals. Caldwell, good job to lay out on the floor to get that one. That one inbounds for the Cardinals, and they go up 9-4 over the Pioneers.
I hate to sound like a broken record, but those open corners are just giving the Cardinals an advantage in tonight's game.
Timeout on the floor called by Marietta. And Otterbein with the 9-4 advantage here, up 2-0. As we take a look again at the statistics, Annie Junger has increased her total for kills in the match to 9. Kim Barker has 5, as does Tabitha Piper, and Maddie Shelley has 4. Annie Junger also with 20 total assists in the game, and Tabitha Piper with 25 to her credit. So she's halfway there now, Joe, to setting the school's all-time record. And I imagine as the statistics on the computer just update now with 26, and we'd like to remind everyone that next Saturday you can catch a doubleheader right here on OTV. Volleyball will be in action against Capital. It is rivalry week across the campus here with an 11 a.m. start. They will take on the Crusaders in a pivotal game that will be senior night here, and then right after that, keep it to OTV as we will jump over to Memorial Stadium, just a few yards away from the right center here, and we will have coverage of Otterbein football and see if they can take down 1-6 Capital. And it will be a huge battle for the Cardinals to try to get back on to a winning track after 2 consecutive losses to ranked teams, to Heidelberg and to Mount Union. Otterbein facing an uphill battle with an injury to their 2 starting quarterbacks, so keep it locked to OTV and see if the Cards can pull out victory over hated Capital. That one is off the hands of a Cardinal, and Marietta has the first points out of break. But as we were saying, Tabitha Piper now with 26 assists. She is now more than halfway to her goal of setting the all-time assist record at Otterbein, which is a little over 3,000. And let's not also forget, she's only a junior. So she will, if not set it against Capital on Saturday, she will definitely do it next year as a senior. But just a point of reference, Joe, the all-time record for assists in the OAC stands at 6,407.
Wow.
That's set by Erica Roof for Ohio Northern. Her career lasted from 2007 to 2009. So as Tabitha Piper tries to get the 3,000 mark, the conference record is well over 6,000. Fakes from Liz Palmer, but it's Junger that eventually sends it over. Staten to Piper to Palmer, and can't get it that time. Is a diving Estes. Otterbein with a 3-point lead here in the 3rd set. As they try to save it, but Maddie Shelley, excuse me, that one is Emily Caldwell, the libero, unable to save it that time. Jansen puts it in play. And point
it's like a little bit of an unsure call.
Point does go to the Cardinals, though, but we've seen a lot of that in this match. The officials being very hesitant to make their calls, and that time it looked like it was inbounds to me again. So some questionable calls out of the officiating tonight. That's the first time I've seen it go in Otterbein's favor, however. And the Pioneers are battling back into this 3rd set, down 2 points now.
Laura Maurer gets the assist with a great jump serve. I'm sorry.
As we mentioned, she was the leading assister coming to this one for the Pioneers with 682 on the campaign. A good effort that time from the Pioneers to dive and try to send it back over, but ultimately Otterbein gets the point, and into the game now for the Cardinals is Casey White, the sophomore from Little Hocking, Ohio, the Warren High School graduate. Annie Junger back to serve. Just clears the net. Caldwell lets that one go, but it will stay on bounds, and point goes to Marietta, and they are in double digits. As Becca Roth, the freshman from Norwalk, Ohio, substituted into the game for Coach Ray Costa's girls, and she will retreat behind the line to serve.
Norwalk, Ohio is my neighboring town.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Big rivals?
Yeah, they went to state last year. They were state runner-ups in volleyball.
Did you ever play against her?
Oh, yes.
So you know her?
Yes.
You should have mentioned that. You should have said that earlier, that you knew one of the girls out on the court
She
tonight.
actually used to go to my school, and she moved in middle school to Norwalk High School.
She couldn't handle it, Edison. Good set of volley here by both teams. A great save that time by Caldwell. And that one hit a little too hard. Sailing past the end line, Casey White, the hitter that time. So who else do you know out there on the court right now?
That's about it.
That's all? Caldwell. Light tap over that time. Caldwell digs it out to Junger, and that one's off the hands of the diving libero. Point to Otterbein. They go up 3 points.
Annie Junger has had a strong arm tonight.
As she does most nights, as we mentioned, coming into this one, second in the OAC in kills, first in kills per set. And checking back into the game is Evelyn Karras for the Cards. She is the lady called upon to serve. And that time it's White who's able to exploit the corners again and get the 15th point of the set for the Cardinals.
Right down the line is always a difficult hit to pass up.
Before the serve can get over, they blow it dead and award the point to their Cards.
Out of rotation on Marietta.
Out of rotation. Is that a penalty you can explain to us a little better, Joe?
I would imagine it was with the setter. She's a back row setter, which means she needs to be behind number 20, and she may have left to run across the court too early before the serve had hit the hand of the server on our side. A little complicated.
Of course.
It can definitely get you into trouble.
That was obvious to anyone who's watching the broadcast tonight. So the Cards will benefit from the out of order rotation call.
Either or.
Piper's able to save it to Junger. Junger gets it over and unable to send it back over the net, or the Pioneers. And Otterbein takes the 17-12 advantage here in the third set. Staten will check back into the match, and she will be called upon to serve. Is the sophomore from Athens, Ohio. Gracie Staten puts it in play, and the Pioneers will play it. Setting up for Junger on a kill. Again to Junger, and a good job by the Pioneers front wall to send it back over. And that time they're unable to. That one too hot to handle as it's off the hands of the diving libero. Annie Junger credited with the point that time, and Otterbein takes the 18-12 advantage here.
Great coverage by libero Emily Caldwell and Otterbein. She's been doing a great job of picking up everything.
Gracie Staten again serves for the third consecutive time, and she digs it out that time. Again, it's Junger, and again, it's Junger with the kill and the point. Consecutive kills for Annie Junger. And she now has 15 in the match. More than any other opponent on the floor does the senior. That one off the net, point going to the Cardinals. And they are now in the 20-point range. 5 points away from taking the third set and getting the shutout and going home victorious, picking up their 24th victory of the season. And there is a timeout on the floor. So, Joe, it looks like the Cardinals will be victorious tonight, and they will get that 24th win in the season and 6th in OAC play. And what have you noticed from the Cardinals tonight that you like that they have done out there on the court to get the close to victory anyways.
The defense has been great. They've been helping each other out, picking up everything left and right, diving, great passes. Also, the offense has been aggressive. They haven't been doing many tips. Everything's been a hit, and they've been getting a lot of points off of it. And it's great to see that they're sticking with being aggressive instead of taking the easy way out and tipping.
They really have been able to exploit all of Marietta's weaknesses tonight, too, as well. We've seen the back corners and the backcourt in general. Marietta creeping up to that net a lot closer than they probably should have tonight, and Otterbein has been able to see that and exploit it very well.
A lot of missed serves by both teams tonight, though.
Sure, that will be a talking point in the week of practice that Coach McDonald has before her next match on Saturday to get things taken care of in the final game of the regular season against Capital, and then looking forward to the OAC tournament and eventually, hopefully, the NCAA tournament as well. And reminder, if the Cardinals do indeed get that 4th seed, then you can watch the home coverage of the Lady Cardinals here on OTV while they play in the OAC tournament. As it sits now, they are in a tie for 3rd place with Ohio Northern, both with 5-2 records on the season in conference play. So it will be interesting to see who are those top 4 seeds and who gets home court advantage in the tournament. Speaking of Ohio Northern, it looks like they too will advance to 6-2 in conference play as they have a 2-0 set over Wilmington. The 3rd set just about to start in Wilmington, Ohio. Wilmington without a conference win all year. Only 1 win on the season, 1-17. And in other OAC action, Baldwin-Wallace trails Mount Union 2-0. So it looks like both teams ahead of the Cardinals in the conference standings will pick up wins. And if Heidelberg can win, it will effectively end the Cardinals' chances of taking the regular season OAC crown. So Otterbein just 2 points away now, up 10 over the Pioneers of winning this set and effectively the game. Junger, good job there by the libero to keep it alive. Otterbein now just 1 point away from taking this game. Annie Junger, 16 kills in the match, more than double anyone else has tonight. She has played her usual fantastic game. And they're going to try to get it to Junger to finish it off, and they will indeed. It goes off the hands of the libero, and the Cardinals get the 25th point of the set, and more importantly, they get their 24th win of the season. The Cards go to 24-6 on the year, 6-2 in OAC play. Marietta falls to 12-16 on the year and 2-6 in OAC play. So the Cardinals pick up the victory tonight, and we will throw it to a quick break. When we come back, we will have an interview with the star player of tonight's match, Annie Junger, along with victorious head coach Monica McDonald. So keep it locked here to OTV. We will have all the interviews when we come back here. Keep it locked.
Oh, hey, bud. Where are you headed?
Just gonna hang out.
With Gary and Todd?
Yeah?
I've been meaning to ask you, is there any drinking going on in this crowd?
No.
If any of your buddies ever pressure you to take a drink, just tell them you promised your dad you wouldn't. I'd do anything to keep you safe.
Okay, I will.
I hope this is working.
I promise. Love you too, Dad.
They really do hear you. For tips on what to say, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Is your body holding you back?
Where do you think you're going? I want to go running. Not with that knee, you're not.
Your bones and joints can say no at any age.
Let's not pick her up. What do you say?
Yet a lot of people in pain fight back.
Use your head. Save your back. My bride, my rules.
And regain their lives.
You gotta be kidding me.
Fight for your mobility. Visit anationinmotion.org. A message from the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons.
I'll take it from here.
At what age is the color that your skin was meant to be no longer beautiful? Every year, millions of young women try to change the skin they were born with and say they die for darker skin. Sadly, some actually do. Melanoma is the 2nd most common cancer in teens and young adults, and 1 person dies from melanoma every hour. Change your thinking, not your skin. Stop tanning. Learn more at spotskincancer.org. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology.
Still up? Can't sleep? Looking for something to do? Come to a place where the fun never sleeps. Columbus Square Bowling Palace. It's been the premier bowling destination in Central Ohio for 30 years. With 64 lanes of bowling open 24 hours, no matter what time it is. There's always time at the Palace for fun with friends and family. Join the Night Owl regulars at Columbus Square Bowling Palace, where the fun never sleeps.
Oh, hey, bud. Where are you headed?
Just gonna hang out.
With Gary and Todd?
Yeah?
I've been meaning to ask you, is there any drinking going on in this crowd?
No.
If any of your buddies ever pressure you to take a drink, just tell them you promised your dad you wouldn't. I'd do anything to keep you safe.
Okay, I will.
I hope this is working.
I promise. Love you too, Dad.
They really do hear you. For tips on what to say, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Back here at the Reich Center, where Otterbein has shut out the Marietta Pioneers to pick up their 13th shutout of the year, 24th victory of the season. And down on the court, we have the victorious Annie Junger, who had a superb game, 17 kills in tonight's match. Annie, you had a great game, and your team picked up their 13th shutout victory of the season. What went right tonight?
You know, I think we struggled with energy in the first set, but we knew that we had to bring it up in order to beat this team. I think we stayed very composed, and I think we all helped each other out, and I think we brought a lot of energy at the end, and I think we showed a little bit of pride tonight. We knew we had to come out strong. After beating Mount Union, we couldn't drop any sets regionally, so I think we did very well in that aspect.
Just one more game in the regular season, of course, against hated Capital this Saturday. That'll be senior night, your last regular season game here at the Reich Center. Just talk about what it means to you going into senior night and what it means to try to close out your career in the regular season with a victory against Capital, hopefully.
It's definitely bittersweet. I can't believe it's already here. I've been looking forward to this. But it would mean a lot, you know, for just everyone to just come out strong. I know we're all going to be excited on senior night, especially versus Capital, you know, our probably biggest rivals since we're so close to each other. And, you know, it just means a lot for us if we were able to shut them out on senior night, our last regular home game of the season. So I think we just got to be ready to bring it. I think they're going to want to beat us too, since it is that big rivalry. But, you know, like I said, I think we're all looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great match.
With Heidelberg undefeated in conference play, it looks like the regular season championship might not be a realistic goal this year. However, there's still the OAC tournament to go. What do you guys have to improve if you want to win consecutive OAC tournaments, and what do you think Coach McDonald will have you doing in the weeks of practice leading up to it to prepare for whoever you play in the OAC tournament, hopefully get a home court game too to start the thing?
Yes, definitely. We just have to have a really strong mentality coming into the game. We have to know that everyone is going to want to beat us. You know, Northern and Heidelberg beat us in the regular season, so now everyone thinks they have a chance, and we just have to come out strong in those first couple sets and show that they don't have a chance against us. We have to come out strong, come out swinging, and show them that we're not a team to mess around with anymore. And I just think we're going to practice that mentality. We can't get down on ourselves. If we lose a couple points, we have to stay up, stay positive, get right back in the game there. So I think we know that. We're prepared for that, and I think we're going to do well in the tournament again this year.
Annie, thank you for joining us. You had a terrific game tonight, and best of luck to you Saturday on senior night against Capital.
Thank you.
Well, now we're going to talk to head coach Monica McDonald, who picked up her 24th victory of the season. We will take it down to Coach McDonald just in a little bit. As Otterbein picks up the victories here, 18 sets to 25, 15-25, 13-25, as we mentioned, getting their 13th shutout of the season, advancing to 24-6 on the year, and more than likely will advance in the polls as well with the 17th ranking. And now we will go down to Coach McDonald, who got the victory tonight. Coach, you get your 13th shutout of the season. What'd you like out of your girls? What'd you see that needed some room for improvement tonight?
Off particularly strong. I think, you know, it was just a little bit of a letdown match after our conference rival Mount Union. But I did like the way that they rebounded and picked up the game through sets 2 and 3, allowed us to get some other players in, get them some experience, and, you know, just played stronger throughout the match.
The last time your girls were here at the Reich Center against Wilmington, you went with a lot more substitutes in that second set, and then in the third set, you played a little bit more of the starters tonight. Any reason you went with the starters for a longer time?
I mean, you know, Marietta is a really, really good 2-5 team. They've definitely, you know, got some athletes out there. They had some players out tonight, but, you know, I really respect their program. And, you know, at this point in the season, you don't want to take too many chances. We want to put ourselves in the best position possible moving forward to the OAC tournament.
You mentioned the OAC tournament, Capital, the last regular season game of the year coming up this Saturday, and then looking forward to that OAC tournament. Hopefully your girls can get a home court game in the first round of that tournament. What are you going to be telling them in the weeks leading up to practice to prepare for whoever it is you play in the OAC tournament?
I mean, I think that, you know, at this point we're pretty confident that, you know, best case scenario, we're going to finish third. You know, worst case scenario with a win on Saturday, we're going to finish fourth. So, you know, we're not going to have the luxury of that 1-8 or 2-7 matchup. So, you know, these girls know that that 4-5 game or that 3-6 game is going to be a tough one, and then it only gets tougher moving forward. So, you know, I don't think they'll have any problem staying focused, you know, next week in the tournament. The bigger challenge right now is just staying focused for this Capital match coming up on Saturday.
Thank you very much for joining us, Coach McDonald. Best of luck to you against Capital and going forward into the tournament.
All right, thank you so much.
So head coach Monica McDonald there speaking with us, thanks to her and Annie Junger, who had a fantastic game with 17 kills. So Joe Otterbein gets the shutout here. We've talked about it a lot. They executed what they had to do. They did sort of what your keys to victory were to pick up the game. Most importantly, exploiting that backcourt of Marietta.
That was huge in this game. They got so many points from utilizing the open spots on Marietta's side, whether it be short or deep. They were able to see the open spots and put the ball where it needed to go.
So the final here from the Reich Center tonight, Otterbein wins 3-0. Remember, the next time you can watch the Lady Cardinals in action will be Saturday against Capital. It will be senior night, and that match will start at 11 a.m., and then it is a doubleheader, so keep it locked to OTV as we will head over to Memorial Stadium, where the football team will also battle the boys from Bexley and try to pick up their 4th victory of the season and get back into the win column after a pair of losses to Heidelberg and Mount Union. So that will do it from the Reich Center. We thank you for watching OTV's broadcast of Division III Women's College Volleyball. Otterbein gets the victory over the Pioneers 3-0. For Joe Van Duten, I am David Kinder. Thanks for watching OTV, and go Cards.